Good day. In this video we're going to look at plus and minus of common fractions. We're sticking to a few basic rules. Firstly, we make all fractions. Then we make the bottoms, call the denominators the same. We write one bottom and add the top. The numerators at the top we add, and then simplify and or write as a mixed number. Don't worry too much about all these rules. We will catch them as we do the sums. Our first sum is 2/3 plus 2/3. The first thing we have to do, we have to make everything fractions. They both are fractions. Next thing I have to do, I have to make the bottoms the same. They are the same. They're both thirds. So I can just write one bottom now, which is 3. Then I bring the 2 down with the plus and the 2. So I add the 2/3 and the 2/3. That'll give me 4/3. Then I know that 3/3 is a whole. So I divide 3 into 4. My simplified answer is 1 1/3. Please remember, in strict maths, the top is called the numerator and the bottom is called the denominator. I'm going to call it top and bottom for the rest of this video. The next sum we have to do is we have to minus 1/3 from 5/6. The first thing I have to do, I have to make everything fractions. Everything is fractions. The next thing, I must make the bottoms the same, so I must change the 6 and the 3 to the same number. How I do that is I take 3 and write the multiples of 3. 3, 6, and 9 are the multiples of 3. Then the multiples of 6 is 6, 12, and so on. And then I find the first lowest common multiple. So we make both the bottoms 6. I bring this 5/6 down and my minus, and I change this thirds to sixths. You ask yourself, with what do you times 3 to get to 6? Answer is times 2. You also times the top by 2. And then 1 times 2 is 2. So I've got 5/6 minus 2/6. Now I write one bottom, which is 6 with a long line. I bring the 5 minus 2 down, and I minus the 2/6 from the 5/6. That'll give me 3/6. And then I simplify this by dividing 3 in there and in there. The final answer is 1/2 or a half. The next one we're going to do is a quarter plus 3/8. The first thing we have to do, we have to make everything fractions. This is already fractions. So then I have to make my bottoms the same. I take 4 and write down the multiples of 4. 4, 8, 12. Then I write down the multiples of 8. 8, 16, and so on. I look for the first common, the lowest common multiple. Then I know I must make my bottoms 8. I bring this 3/8 down and the plus. Got to change the quarters to 8s. So I ask myself, what do I times 4 to get to 8? You times it by 2. So you also times 2 at the top. Then 1 times 2 is 2/8. So 1/4 is 2/8. Now the bottoms are the same. So I write one bottom. And I add the numbers at the top. The 2/8 plus the 3/8 will give me 5/8. And that can't be simplified any further. Please don't get mixed up with all the steps we are using. As you get better and understand your fractions plus and minus better, you can leave out some of the steps. As we go, eventually, we will skip this step and go straight from this one to this one. But wait till you're ready for that. The next sum we're going to do is 2 1/3 plus 1 1/2. The first thing we're going to do, we're going to change everything to fractions. We know that inside 2 wholes, there will be 6/3. But a shortcut is, we're going to take this 2 times this 3 plus the 1. And that'll give us 7/3. I say again, 2 times 3 is 6, plus 1 is 7/3 in 2 1/3. Plus, I do the same over here. 1 times 2 is 2, and 1 is 3/2. So 3/2 is the same as 1 1/2. Now I've made everything fractions. Now I've got to make the bottoms the same. To do that, I write down the multiples of 2. In this case is 2, 4, 6, 8, and so on. Then I write down the multiples of 3. Multiples of 3 is 3, 6, 9. I look for the common multiple. Then I know my lowest common multiple of 3 and 2 is the 6 that I found. And I make both of them, change them to sixths. So I write a 6 there with a line, a 6 with a line. Then I ask myself, what do I times 3 to get to 6? Which is times 2. Then I also times the 7 by 2. And 7 times 2 gives me 14/6. So 7/3 is the same as 14/6. Plus, I must do the same with the 3/2 to get it to sixths. I ask, what do I times 2 to get to 6? It is times 3. then also times 3 at the top. And then 3 times 3 gives me 9 over 6. So 3 over 2 is the same as 9 over 6. Now my bottoms are the same. I write one bottom with a long line. We write 1 6 with a long line. I say 14 6 plus 9 6. And I add them. That gives me 23 over 6. Then I see how many holes I can get out of here. And every 6 will give me an hole. So I divide 6 into 23. My final answer is 3 and 5/6. So 23 6 will give me 3 holes and 5/6. The last sum of this video is I must subtract 3/4 from 4. So it's 4 minus 3/4. The first thing I do is I make everything fractions. We write 4 as 4 over 1. Now it is a fraction. Then we make the bottoms the same. We first find the multiples of 1, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the multiples of 1. And then we find the multiples of 4, 4, 8, 12. Look for the lowest common multiple, in this case, which is 4. Then I make both my denominators 4. The bottoms I make 4, so that was already 3 over 4, so I keep it, keep my minus. Then I ask, what do I times 1 to get to 4, which is times 4. Then I also times by 4 at the top. And then 4 times 4 is 16 over 4. So we got 16 over 4 and 3 over 4. Now the bottoms are the same, so I write down one denominator, one bottom, which is then 4, and I take the 16 minus the 3/4, and I get the answer, 13/4 or 13 over 4. Then I see how many, every 4/4 makes a hole, so I divide 4 into 13, and then I can see I can find 3 holes and another quarter in here. So 13 over 4 is the same as 3 1/4. Please indicate whether you liked or disliked the video. You can also subscribe to the channel. If there's anything you're not sure about on common fractions or fractions as such on school level, you can send a WhatsApp or a message to this number and explain your problem. Then we will look at it and make a small video and post it for free on YouTube that other people can benefit from what you asked.